Hello, it's Duncan. In a change from our normal content, this week I look at a cool IntelliJ Test Runner plugin, preview JetBrains' experimental command completion feature, celebrate the return of some lost Kotlin refactorings, and have a little moan about those that remain lost. So JetBrains giveth and JetBrains taketh away. The first thing to notice today is a new JetBrains theme. Here it is, Islands, and it's dark, although there is a light version that I haven't tried, and it gives this nice sort of rounded effect here with the background so that the editor and the tool windows are islands in the sea of IntelliJ. I suppose that's the gist. I rather like it. It's clean and modern, and I've switched to it as my daily theme. The next thing I want to look at is this. There it was, blink and you missed it. So let's make it a bit more obvious. We'll go to the checkout tests and we'll say, once you've calculated the total, also thread.sleep, and let's say a couple of 100 milliseconds. And now if I run the tests, I get this nice progress bar here. It shows how many tests are run, and when you're done, it goes away. If the test runner is showing, then it continues to show, which is good. In addition to which, there's a mode where if the test fails, I'm just going to put that down to 100 so we're not spending all our time waiting. It shows the progress bar, but then shows the failing test. A lot of people have asked me about their test progress bar. Up to now, it was a plugin for Dmitry Kandalov's live plugins, plugin. But I'm happy to announce that Dmitry's produced a standalone version. Here it is in the marketplace, and yours for not a lot of money. He's not giving me a cut. This definitely isn't an advert, YouTube. I just think it's a really useful tool. At the moment it's configured with the IntelliJ registry, which I didn't know existed, but it has a number of values you can play around with to make it look and behave as you'd like. And I'm sure if enough people buy it, it will get a proper settings page. So there it is. We'll fix that, remove that, and run. Okay, the next thing is a new JetBrains feature. We find it in Editor, General, Code Completion, not inline completion or postfix completion, but here we have Enable Command Completion. It's a beta feature. I'm running it here in the early access preview. And the idea, let's see if it tells you, command completion allows you to execute actions by calling completion in certain contexts. Well, that's a bit cryptic, isn't it? But in practice, let's go to our checkout class itself. One of the increasingly irritating things about IntelliJ is that some of our refactorings have keystrokes all of their own, like Shift F6 for rename, for example. Oh dear, EAP day. What's this? Oh dear, JetBrains' own AI assistant is not happy. Never mind. So Shift F6 allows us to rename. Don't really want to do that. But I could also get to rename by Control T for refactor that. And there it is, Shift F6. Change signature, that's Command F6. And in that case, we get this nice dialog. But there are all sorts of other things I could do. For example, if I Control T on codes, then I can rename it and do some things. But if I Alt Enter, I can add a getter and convert a properly initializer getter or convert it to lazy property and so on. Now these are called intentions, or if there was a warning, a quick fix. But you just sort of have to know that it's going to be worth pressing Alt Enter. The new feature, however, allows you to do ... somewhere. So if I do ... now you can see I've got a number of commands that are applicable here. So amongst those is add getter and convert properly initializer to getter. Those are the intentions. We can move it to the constructor, move it, but also the things that were on the refactoring menu, like rename, which works in the same way. I find it a bit irritating that having typed ... if I decide I don't want to do any of those things, then escape leaves my code not compiling. I know that's sort of compatible with completion, but nonetheless, I think it's a good feature. It does, I suppose, beg the question of why to just not make that happen on Control T for refactor this. The thing about refactor this is that it shows you a whole bunch of things that may or may not be applicable here. So for example, introduce parameter that says cannot perform a refactoring without an expression. Now that begs the question of why refactor this is showing us things that we can't do here. And I suppose the answer is that this is a menu we could look at to see what sort of refactorings I could do all over the place. Should JetBrains have a strategy? I'm not sure why alt-enter just doesn't allow me to rename. Oh well, it's an experimental feature. Maybe command completion and quick fix will merge. Try it out and see what you think. Finally then, I pointed out that this is the early access preview. If I open the current version of IntelliJ, early access over there, and 2025-24, and we'll put that on that side. And I'm going to compare the refactoring menus here. So here you can see we've got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 things. And here we've gained extract interface, we've gained extract superclass. There were a lot of refactorings, quick fixes and intentions that disappeared as part of K2, and a lot of them are back now in the early access preview. It's not all good news on that front though, because in the non-early access I could turn off K2 mode, restart. Obviously that's only sensible if I'm not using language features only available on K2, but without K2 mode I am able to see lots and lots of refactorings and lots of intentions. We try the same thing over here. Notice that make private isn't there with K2, but is when we're not in K2 mode. So by no means all of the refactorings have been brought over yet, but to rub salt in that wound, we can't select non-K2 mode in the compiler in the EAP. I suppose to be fair, it is early access, and so non-K2 mode might come back, but to be honest with you, I don't think I'd hold my breath. So JetBrains giveth and JetBrains taketh away. I've tried lots of other things, and IntelliJ remains the best IDE. The Kotlin support still hasn't caught up with Java yet, and as I say, Kotlin really hasn't even caught up with itself. I remember now that one of the things I'm missing is introduce type parameter. That's a really handy refactor that just isn't available in K2. And it's the sort of thing that AIs don't do so well. But complaint mode off. I'm working as a Dart developer at the moment, and the refactoring tooling there takes me back 20 years. Anyway, that's all from me this week. The refactoring tooling has been front of mind because I'm going to be at Kotlin Dev Day, November the 27th in Amsterdam, where Dimitri and I will be running our refactoring demo in front of a live audience. It turns out we actually have 45 minutes, so we're going back to the Kotlin Conf target of 47 refactorings in 45 minutes. It promises to be a great conference, and tickets are still available. I hope we'll see you there, and thanks for watching.